Peace and love, everybody. This is thanks for our videos. I'm learning a lot from you. Peace and love. I learn a lot from you guys. Y'all the ones that teach me this. Y'all the ones that make me better. Y'all the ones that makes me study. Y'all the ones that keep asking questions that I have to find the answers to. So I appreciate everybody. But I'm going to go over the basics right now, why everybody's joining. And I appreciate everybody that has dropped a donation to enter my class. And I'm going to put more forms. I sent everybody emails that had joined, but if you need it, I will put the forms in the chat. But peace and love to everybody. Peace and love to you, Shatana, and your husband. El Demir, peace and love. Peace and love to Venom Bay, of course. Now, 28 USC. This is the United States codes, okay? 28 USC, 3002. These are the definitions. When you understand contracts, when you start going over contracts, you have to understand there has to be a clear definition, or there's no understanding. There's no meaning of the mind. So when you say you understand, that means you agree and abide by the definitions or the terms and conditions. So just scrolling down, we'll go ahead and start at subsection 1. Counsel for the United States. So a United States attorney, an assistant United States attorney, designated to act on behalf of the United States Attorney or an attorney with the United States Department of Justice or the federal agent who has litigation and authority. Shatana says, peace and love to you and Davina.
Peace and love, Shatana.
Subsection B says, any private attorney authorized by contract made in accordance with Section 3718 of Title 31 to conduct litigation for collections of debt on behalf of the United States. This is why I need people to understand the importance of these definitions. So anytime you see counsel or the United States attorney, the United States attorney, they're private attorneys authorized by contract to collect debts on behalf of the United States. Now, what's important is they're going to tell you the definitions of debt. They're going to tell you the definition of the United States. So if you go down to subsection 3, 28 USC 3002 subsection 3, I'm going to put that link in the chat for you guys if you want to. There's the link. That's where I'm reading from. Islam, Jerome. Islam. Peace and love. So debt. Debt means an amount that is owed to the United States on an account of a direct loan or loan insured or guaranteed by the United States, or an amount that is owing to the United States on an account of a fee, duty, lease, rent, service, sale, or real estate, personal property. It goes on and on. It includes any amount owing to the United States for the benefit of an Indian tribe or individual Indian, but excludes any amount to which the United States is entitled to under Section 3011A. Now, so all a debt is, per their definition, per United States codes, is an amount that's owed to the United States. So anytime you see something that says they're here to collect a debt, that's an amount that's owed to the United States. Now, if you jump down to 28, 3002, subsection 15, all right? It's the United States codes. United States means a federal corporation. So a debt means an amount owed to a federal corporation. Or...
Oh, wait, Malik, can you owe a federal corporation that's under bankruptcy?
Not necessarily. You cannot. She brings up a good, valid point. But United States also means an agency, a department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States, or instrumentality of the United States, or A United States Marshal means a United States Marshal, a Deputy Marshal, an official of the United States Marshal Service designated under Section 564. So no, the United States Federal Corporation is under bankruptcy, so all debt will be exchanged per HJR 192. It will be offset. Now, when we go back up, so you understand, when you agree to these debts, now you're playing their game. And when you agree to play the game, you don't have proper status, you don't have proper standing. This is when they can take this so-called evidence to court. And what does court mean under Section 2? Court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States Tax Court. Say that again. Court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States Tax Court. So, if Congress didn't even give you permission to have this court hearing over yourself or your business, then it's a tax court. It is a tax issue. Do you understand your charge? I'm trying to make this make as much sense as possible for everybody, man. If I'm moving too fast, let me know. We can go take it a little bit slow. We can slow it down a little bit. So what is a debtor? We'll keep going down. These are their definitions. This is the court definitions. Why can I say this? It's not because I'm a licensed attorney, because I'm not. It's not because I'm a tax expert, it's because I'm not. It's because I pay attention. All right? They're telling you everything. This is a tax issue, it's tax court. Debtor. Debtor means a person who's liable for a debt or against whom there is a claim for a debt. That's their definition of debtor. A person who is liable for a debt. Now, I said be careful of this person word now. So when we go down, we see what person means. It'll tell you what person means. That's Section 10. Person includes a natural person, including an individual Indian, a corporation, a partnership, an unincorporated association, a trust, or an estate, or any other public or private entity, including a state or local government or an Indian tribe. And it says including a state. So a state is a person. Now, it also tells you what state means as well. When we go down to 14, you see what state means. State means any of the several states, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, or any territory or possession of the United States. So anytime you use this word state, Missouri State or state of, anything like that, then it's in possession of the United States. Spelling and spellcasting. Use your words wisely. And then we go down. They do, they recognize security agreements. Security agreements means an agreement that creates or provides for a lien. So this is why it's important that you learn the truth of security agreements and what a security agreement is, and then learn how to securitize the agreement to provide for that lien. Because this is what they're doing on you. This is exactly what they're doing on you, and these are the definitions right here. 28 U.S.C. 3002. Subsection. All of them. Read it. Don't just go to the United States Federal Corporation. But this is why it's important to understand what corporations are. When you're born, you're a sole prop. When you're born, they create your name into a sole prop. A sole proprietorship is also known as the sole trader, an individual entrepreneurship or proprietorship. It's a type of enterprise that is owned and run by one person, and in which there is no legal distinction between the owner and the business entity. Again, there is no legal distinction between the owner and the business entity. So the sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. It simply refers to a person who owns the business and is personally responsible for all its debts. I'm going to put this definition in there in the chat for you guys. So it's because sometimes y'all just need to see it. It's all in plain sight for you. Y'all just ain't paying attention, man. Oh, there's too much right there. Now, what's it say about a C corporation? What is a C corporation? A C corporation under United States federal income tax law refers to any corporation that is taxed separately from its owners. So it's taxed separately from its owners. A C corporation is distinguished from an S corporation, which generally is not taxed separately. C corporation or C corp stands for corporation. The C comes from the fact that C corp income is taxed under the subchapter C of the Internal Revenue Code. They can't be taxed, make a profit, and be held liable. In fact, they offer the highest level of protection from personal liability for its owners. This is why it's important for a C corporation. And then, when you set up a trust corporation within the state, because you know the IRS does not recognize a business trust whatsoever. On the public side, on the private side, it's going to be a trust corporation. On the public side, it's going to be a C corporation. And that's why. Because it's the highest level of protection from personal liability for the owners. Your shareholders. You hold a percentage of the shares. These are the C corporations. These are the ones that, let's see if we can find some good images that speak some facts on it. It says the C corporation is the most widely recognized distinct legal entity under United States federal income tax law, wherein a corporation is taxed separately from its owners or shareholders. It is governed by the laws of that state in which it has filed its articles of incorporation. It offers unlimited growth potential, which means one can attract many wealthy investors. The shareholders get a protection from their personal liability arising out of the business. Corporations pay taxes on corporate earnings before distributing it to the shareholders. Then the shareholders have to pay taxes on the dividends received by them. The owners are taxed twice here. You dig? So the thing is, if you have an LLC in place already for your strawman name, then you have a whole different ball game going on. But that's for a later class. So the way that I'm teaching in this class, like last week we went over a lot of the private side of the sole proprietorship that they use with your name, and how the Social Security number is your tax identification number. You know, the social makes you a slave, the EIN makes you a master, because every corporation needs an EIN. So let's see. I'm looking for, I'm going to pull it. Here we go. It's week 1. We need week 2. So, I sent a lot of people the stuff for the irrevocable trust or the unincorporated business trust, because this is important. Understanding trust. But starting off, just for the basics, I'm teaching you different things about business credit. So, you do this for your business, and you grow it over time, okay? Don't be in a hurry. Just make sure you get everything right. It takes a bit of time for these things to report, but if you do the steps correctly, you can cut many years off the time it would usually take to create business credit with no personal liability with useful accounts, okay? Do this process only for a real business, not a fake business. Many people think that they see this corporate credit package stuff and they think they can make many fake businesses as they want, take as much money as you want. While there's some elements of truth to this statement, it's better to build business credit for a real business. It makes sense to start a real business. Make sure that's an ongoing business that will not end up if the business were to go bankrupt. So this is why we do this. If your personal credit is not that great, it's okay. Okay? Just make sure you start this corporate credit because it's not attached to your personal credit per se. Now, if you want to go get some big things right away, then you would probably need to attach your personal credit, but you don't need your social, all right? So a trust protects you with no personal liability, all right? Your family and your assets. So you get the common law trust, unincorporated business trust, which is non-taxable. No one should operate as a person, and everyone should operate a trust. A person is what you operate from the Social Security number you were given upon birth. This method allows you to operate a trust with better than more credit than you can get personally. And I promise you this. And just to show you, I will show you one account that I just opened. One account that I just opened. Everybody that's with me in my chat. It shows you have been approved for a $3,255 trade line with Crown Office Supplies. Peace and love, everybody that's joining. Now, a quick overview about building this credit with the trust is you have to do it correctly to build this corporate credit, all right? If the corporation is not initially built correctly, it will never be able to access corporate credit with no personal liability, all right? It's kind of like building a house. You must have a solid foundation. Once the corporation is built correctly, then the credit of the corporation needs to be built step by step, exactly, correctly, to make this corporation look credit worthy to all lenders on the software they access to determine lendability. Knowing what lenders look at to determine lendability is what this portion of the corporate credit building information teaches you. And once you get these steps down, I will show you how to go into the banks and get anywhere from $50,000 to $50 million. Like, there's kids doing this stuff, 19, 20-year-olds, man. So it's just all about what you're ready for. It's all about you ready for and what you can truly envision in your life. So the terms to know when we talk about corporate credit is we mean credit for any business type that is not a person. A person can be called personal too. This information does not concern building credit for a person or personal credit. In fact, corporate credit can be built no matter how bad your personal credit is. However, it's far better to have some great personal credit. Trust me on that. So, the first things you're going to need to build that corporation with the exact same attributes a lender needs to build the credit, first step is the creation of the corporation with these lendable attributes. So let's go through the checklist of the steps that you will take to create what a lender needs to see. First, you're going to need your website. And starting off with the status correction, I'm showing people how to do this with their name. Because your name is already considered as a sole prop. You know, on the status correction side, we show you how to pull it from the sole prop and make it an unincorporated business with all rights intact, which makes you a friend of the United States, because, you know, anytime you go into default with the courts, it says the state of versus you. So we show you how to make your name a C corporation, and this is how you do it. Protected by a trust. Because you already know the S corporation is attached to the Sister K by trust. For a lot of people, that's not new to this. So you're going to need a .com, man. You're going to need a website for your business. The corporation type, which is going to be a C corporation. At the very minimum, we'll do an LLC if the trust is not for you. And this is what you're going to register with the Secretary of State. You're going to need the same name, the address. You're going to need an EIN set up as the C corporation or the irrevocable trust. You're going to need a phone number, not just a Google Voice number. No number like that. You're going to need a professional number, a 1-800 number, or a business number attached to a business. You're going to want to list your business with the 411 listing at listyourself.net. You're going to want to have a business email, and you're also going to want to have a business banking account. And once you have all of these things established, this is when you apply for your Dun & Bradstreet number, and then you go ahead and put your business on with Google Maps. Now that you're going to need a business address. In the business address, you can get a virtual business address, all right? And it's going to have to be a business address. It cannot be a residential address. You make sure you get the URL that matches the name of the business, and they're very inexpensive. You can go to places like GoDaddy.com. This website will become the URL address for your corporation's website. You're going to want to set up a way to receive the money, such as PayPal, Stripe, and Authorize.net. These are 3 different vendors that I have used in the past. You're going to want to start a brand new account with Stripe and PayPal. Make sure that you have backup payment gateways for both, all right? The corporation type, this item is important to get correct, as not all corporation types are useful in this process. Our entity tried to steer clear of what they say the people that I'm getting this information from are LLCs. I like LLCs when you're dealing with private banking. But an LLC is a flow-through entity, meaning that the taxes flow through to your person. Having no personal liability connection is important. So the LLC is out is what it says. That leaves 3 types of corporations that you can build credit with. The 3 types of corporations you can build credit with are a nonprofit, a trust, or a C corporation. A nonprofit is not optimal and should only be used in rare circumstances for specific reasons. That really leaves the C corporation and the trust. So let's go over the C corporation first, often referred to as a C corp. The C corp is created at the Secretary of State. In the state you want to operate the C corporation. C corporation is also called a for-profit corporation. This is a taxable entity. You can use this, or you can just use the trust. The trust is the other option for a corporation type. But don't use any type of trust. Only an irrevocable business trust, okay, or a common law irrevocable ecclesiastical trust, because this is not a taxable entity. You register this with the Secretary of State. The only extra step that is definitely needed so your credit account properly shows business credit bureaus is to register the trust with your state secretary. In Florida, it costs $350 to register a common law trust with the Secretary of State. You will need to check the cost of your state. A for-profit C corporation should automatically be shown on the Secretary of State website. That's what happens. You look up the Kilam Trust Foundation, this is what occurred. We put the trust on file and it showed up as a C corporation. The address, like I said, we utilized iPostal1.com for the virtual business address. The EIN is free. You can get it from the Internal Revenue Service. The phone number, we got ours from GoDaddy.com, or you can go to 800.com. We went to listyourself.net that lists with 411 listings, and also the Google Maps, all right? The business email we got from GoDaddy.com. The bank account that we utilize, we like Chase Bank, and we also like Navy Federal. We also like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, or any other type of credit unions, because I like building credit with the credit unions, most definitely. Then you go to dnb.com. This is your Dun & Bradstreet number. Once you have all these things established, you get your Dun & Bradstreet number. You know, Google Maps. If you want to set up on social media, get you a social media site. Jennifer Smith, peace and love, peace and love. Everybody that's joining, peace and love, peace and love. I'm just going over the trust way, the trust way. Other people's asking me about some other stuff. I'm not going over. We're just going over status, standing, and trust today. Last week, if you joined, you watched the video. It's live. We went over the status correction part with the county. It's your county deeds office, the status correction documents. And that is on the private side. Your name is a sole prop. Your name is created as a sole prop. When you're born, you're operating in business. That's what it is. A sole proprietorship is the simplest business form under which one can operate a business. The sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. It simply refers to a person who owns the business and is personally responsible for all its debts. Peace and love, Anthony Gaston. Peace and love. And I'm letting you know why this stuff is important. Like we went over the definitions. 28 U.S.C. 3002. United States means federal corporation. Anytime you see debt, that's an amount owed to the United States. So anytime you're playing their game, man, you're playing a code game where they own everything. The United States means a federal corporation. They own everything, and that's how they have it. Now, when you're filling out the information for Duns & Bradstreet, you're going to want to make sure you have 11, 12, or 13 employees. You're going to want to make sure you have at least 200 square feet per employee. Maybe even more right now with the epidemic going on. The income that you need to do, it needs to be at least 2.1 million in income or better. If they call, always tell them the 4 data points: income, square footage, employees, and years in business. Always put that I'm at least 2 years in business. Keep your information consistent on the phone and on paper. Dun & Bradstreet collaborates your data points. This is considered a third-party verification. This can not be done without tax records, so this may not work, but if it does, this is the information to put in. Mainly, this is the minimum number you put for income on applications for credit, if nothing else. This will be covered in detail later on. So 2 years in business. Now we're going to go over the trust. See if I can pull up the trust for you. A simple trust document. That's the last one. So I'm going to go over some terms first. A trust. What is a trust? A trust is a device in which rights, either personal or proprietary, are held by one person on behalf of another. Trust creator equals settlor. Person holding the trust equals trustee. And person for whom rights are held equals the beneficiary. Again, the trust creator equals settlor. The person holding the trust is the trustee, and the person for whom rights are held is the beneficiary. So why have a trust? Person whom rights are given may not be able to manage, such as mental capacity, tax management, or employment of rights on a plane of time. Note, trust can be created by settlors and courts, known as constructive trust. So this is what happens when you go to a courtroom with your name. They create a constructive trust. The legal title is the name of the trustee. However, the beneficiary has the right to hold the trustee accountable for what to do with the rights. So, things to know are different things. Is the declaration of a trust. And this is something, if we have a private trust, this is what we put on the record, is our declaration of trust. So, right here I'm showing the declaration of trust. And it says this contract and declaration between the undersigned parties known herein as the creator and the exchanger agree to wit. The creator herein offers for consideration to create an organization under common law having a fixed number of certificates which evidence a right of distribution, commonly known as a pure trust organization or unincorporated business organization. And the exchanger herein agrees to the exchange and trade good and valuable consideration for certificates of the newly created organization. This will be the Malik Kilam Trust, also known as Malik Kilam. Therefore, the party mutually agrees, promises, and covenants as follows. Consideration. Exchanger herein agrees to bargain, exchange, assign, convey, and deliver to the organization or its appointed trustee a promissory note payable upon demand for $21 denominated in United States silver certificates of tangible coin plus other good and valuable consideration in exchange for certificates evidencing the right of distribution as promised by the creator. And this goes on and on. The agreements administer as trust in the state. Assets of this organization shall be deemed for administrative purposes a trust estate, and the consideration received from the exchange shall be deemed the initial corpus. There's the agreement, the appointment of the trustee. Did the board of trustees, you can appoint other board members, part of this trust. And this is what goes on. This is what you send with the documentation. The trustee powers, you put their powers in there. What can they do for the corporation? What can they do for the trust? The right to distribute, TCUs, trust certificate units. This is how you distribute your shares of your trust. Negotiation and exchange, notice to third parties. Purpose and intent of this agreement, common law organizations. You know, there's also Privacy Act of 1974, 5 U.S.C. 552A. The terms of the year, the company name. And then you get it signed, and you can also get it if you want other witnesses, or even if you want to take it to the bank and get it notarized. Get the banker's signature's guarantee stamp on it, if that's what you want to do. Excuse me, I gotta get some drink, y'all. Something in the bag. Good. You try to sleep. I'm gonna let all that sink in though for a second. The TCUs, you know, when you place property, when you place something in a trust, you know, that's when you hand over the TCU. So let me pull that. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let me pull up the TCU, the Trust Certificate Unit. So you put your trust organization name in. It looks just like a title, a birth certificate. And then you put the contract and the TCU, the Trust Certificate Unit.
No, I like that kind of axolotl. That other axolotl, there's no such thing as.
So, and all it is a deed of transfer. That's all it is, a deed of transfer. You can create your own bills of sale and then your own deed of transfer. And that's all you need. All you have to do is set up your own TCU. If somebody was to pull you over and ask you for your identification for your car, just hand them your TCU. A trust certificate unit. When you're in my class, I'll make sure you get this. Look it up. TCUs, trust certificate units. I got a whole package. I'll show you how to register these TCUs, okay? The exchanger can register these. The exchanger in your trust registers your property for the trust, places it in the Schedule A, and then authorizes it with the Board of Trustees and the issuance of certificates to the Board of Trustees, whoever owns, or the beneficiaries, or whoever is the state claim and part of this. And then you register that with your Secretary of State. You register that with your county deeds office. If anything happens on the trust, you create a letter and you send it to the beneficiaries and the trustees. But you know, you do not have to do anything except this position. Please see the enclosed certificate unit. You should keep this in a safe place, as this is proof of your beneficial position in the trust. By accepting this TCU, this notice agrees to be bound by the terms of this notice. And you send them your letter. When you become part of my classes, well, I give you this. When we go over these things, you know, I'm just touching bases for the people in my classes right now. We go over stuff pretty quick. It was $100 for the donation for the quick class, you know. So I make sure you just get the information, and I go over it with you slightly. When you get a house, you're gonna want to get a land trust agreement, create your land patent. And create your own allodial title within the trust for everybody that understands that. Well, I'm gonna go over the importance of this, man. The importance of a business trust. What is an unincorporated business trust? And what are its advantages? They're called UBOTs. A UBOT is an organization created and managed by trustees for the benefit and profit of the beneficiaries who hold or may acquire transferable trust certificates. Trust certificates provide individual holders evidence of interest in the trusted estate, which is the assets or the income. A bank account will be placed into Schedule A. It's a contract. And it's a trust account as well. A UBOT is a powerful entity by which individuals may combine their resources to operate a business for profit without the inherent liabilities of a partnership or the double taxation of corporations. A UBOT can preserve privacy, protect assets against judgments and lawsuits. Often called a common law trust, but this phrase is not descriptive of any of the particular characteristics of such organizations. The basis for this terminology, common law trust, is that they are created under the common law of contracts and does not depend upon any statute for its existence. See the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. A UBOT is brought into being by two basic documents, a declaration of trust and a trust indenture. These two documents make all the provisions of who is who and who is responsible for what relative to the trust activities. The UBOT is a great way to avoid tax liabilities of a business or trust transactions until money or assets are distributed to the beneficiaries. Since the trust indenture is a contract between the creator and the trustee, the indenture controls the activities, powers, and responsibilities of those who administer the trust. No one has a legal authority to change its provisions except those so authorized by the indenture. So, the guarantor is the creator. And the guarantor establishes and brings into existence the trust, which is created with the trust indenture and the declaration of trust. And we'll look up trust indenture so y'all can see what that looks like. Let's see, I should have one. But 9 times out of 10, you just need a declaration of trust and that EIN. That's usually all you need to open up a trust account. If that's what you're looking to do. If you have the C corporation, the articles of incorporation, that's all you need to open up the bank account for the corporation. So this trust indenture is 65 pages, so I doubt I'll go over all of that. But I will put it in the chat and I will send it to people. But this is just the definitions and the interpretation. Everything is like everything is like the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. That's the Constitution. That is their trust document. That is their trust document. So that's the trust indenture, which I've never used to open up the bank account. So, but then once this is established, this creates the trustees who act on behalf of the beneficiaries. And the beneficiaries hold the trust certificates, okay? The beneficiaries are the ones holding the trust certificates because they're the ones who benefit from the corporation. You can have a corporation create the actual trust, which will make you the beneficiary. Or you can also make a corporation the beneficiary as well, which could be an LLC, which could be an LLC corporation. The trustees can also be corporations, because this is what you do when you go to court. This is what you do when you contract with corporations. You make them trustee of your sole proprietor estate already. Now the exchanger, this is who issues certificates from the trust and accepts additional property into the trust, which can be a bank. This is a banker. Exchanger is a banker or a private bank. So you can create a corporation to also be your exchanger. So parties and their roles in the UBOT, unincorporated business trust, okay? How many people at the minimum do I need to create a trust, and what are the roles? The guarantor. This is the creator, the person by whom a grant is made. The transfer of the property, the creator of a trust is usually designated as the grantor of the trust. Now the trustees. Trustees are a person or one of a group of persons appointed to manage the affairs of an individual, institution, business, etc. A person who holds property in trust for another. The beneficiaries. The beneficiaries is one who benefits from act of another. One for whose benefit a trust exists. A person who receives or is named to receive money or property from a trust. The exchanger. Whenever you or another party wants to transfer any property into the trust organization in exchange for certificates, you take on the role of an exchanger. Benefits of a UBOT. What are the benefits and drawbacks of this unincorporated business trust? The benefits are privacy, limited liability, you're not subject to probate, you're not subject to state or inheritance tax, it minimizes or avoids income taxes, it maximizes depreciation, it reduces capital gains and taxes, and it's a separate investment program. The drawbacks of this are, when you create a revocable trust which subjects the trust to all the opposite benefits stated above. Property put into an irrevocable trust is just that, irrevocable. So sometimes you can't take it back. The benefits outweigh any drawbacks to establishing this trust, however. But if you make the corporation the beneficiary, then the beneficiary can always acquire these, whatever it is you're placing, okay? There's other ways around that. So, 9 basic aspects of this trust. I'm going to go over 9 basic aspects. I know I'm moving fast, y'all. So we have IRREVOCABLE, peace and love, peace and love. So what can you own with an estate EIN? You're funny. Can't own anything with an EIN. It's a number. Is the estate trust good? Do you have a trust? Do you have an estate placed in that trust? Some people should study before we ask certain questions. Sarah Paula Abrams, you're so awesome, Don. I love you for all your help. Peace and love, peace and love. It says Mayor Trump, peace and love. How do I get in the class? Text me 407-274-5161. Right now we have the site down where we're doing a lot of revamping. So right now it's Cash App. I'm accepting everything via Cash App. Freed Women Empowerment Hour. Peace and love to you. Cam Freed. So the EIN can replace the S is incorrect. See, you're misunderstanding everything that I'm saying. How can you replace the social? It's already there. Just don't use it. And I know you got the books, brother. Then sold you the files for the low. But if you're in my class right now, if you're in the class, if you have any questions, let me know. Because you donated already. And you're in the class. Christopher, peace and love. L, Jamia, peace and love. Shatana, peace and love. But the class is $100. This is week 2 right now. And I'm just breaking down some of the basics. And I'm going back. The 9 basic aspects of the U-Bot. A U-Bot is formed by contract between the parties setting forth the purposes, terms, and conditions. A U-Bot is a legal entity and an artificial individual with rights almost equal to a natural person, such as a human being, able to own property and conduct business like a natural person. It is irrevocable and no one has any right to its assets, okay? The U-Bot's assets are owned and its business's activities managed by the trustees who accept such responsibility as fiduciaries on behalf of the beneficiaries. See, when you become a private member with Kilam, we show you how to set up your irrevocable trust. We show you how to set up your business trust. We'll show you how to get your business established correctly, build that business credit, and move things around. We'll show you how to operate truthfully. And this stuff is not cheap. A lot of people want to invest in their future. They want to invest in their legacies. So that's not cheap, especially if you don't understand it. You're going to want to pay for some type of private training. Some type of private training. People that's already going through it. You're going to want to connect with these people. All right? That's important to invest in yourself and your legacy. That's truly what you want. You're not going to find all the answers in a public format because everything can't be revealed. You're not going to be able to get access to everything. You're going to have to get that private training. You're going to have to get around people that's actually doing these things. And this is what we do. We connect you with these people. And we travel. We don't stop. We travel. I was just in Texas. I was just in Florida. I was just in California. I was just in Baton Rouge. Like, I'm helping people all across the nation. I'm going to connect you with these people as well. This stuff is not fake. Everything I'm showing you. I'm giving it, like, just what I put in the public formatting. I can put it out there because I'm actually utilizing this. I'm actually getting credit. I'm actually making things happen. I'm actually operating from a trustee standpoint. And this is what you have to know. Understand the tax codes. Understand the tax rules. Understand what's going on. And it's not going to come overnight. No, you become a member, man. You become a member. We come to you. We come to you. We come directly to your doorstep. If you want us to work with Bruce, we'll work something out as well. The beneficial interests are divided up into capital units, evidenced by the issue of the trust certificates, conveying to the holder the limited rights to receive the prorate share of any distributions of income or assets that may be made by the trustees. The capital units are personal property which conveys neither legal title to the property nor any voice in the management of the business or the selection of trustees. A U-Bot is subject to taxation on its distributable net income. The beneficiaries are only taxed on what they receive. The assets of a U-Bot are never subject to probate or estate tax because of an artificial person. It never dies. The capital unit becomes void upon the death of the holder and thus have no value to be subject to estate tax or probate. The life of a U-Bot can be extended as deemed advisable or terminated at any time by the trustees in accordance with the trust indenture or the contract. And it's important to understand the roles of a trust. I want to show the YouTube world, man. If you're watching on the YouTube world, I'm about to walk you around. I want y'all to see what's going on. I want y'all to see what's good, man. It's so beautiful. So operating in a trust. Operating in a trust and business credit. Yes, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. I had to let y'all see that view, man. I'm out here in the mountains right now. Out here moving and grooving. Yes, we do not, do not utilize unless you know what you're doing. Unless you know what you're doing, I wouldn't utilize the social whatsoever at all. Thomas said it looks very peaceful. It is very peaceful. It looks like the camera froze up though, so my apologies. Now, the statutory trust versus the common law trust. A statutory trust it can be like in court. You know, statutory trust derived from the existence from and is governed regulated by statutes. So this is why we always use a common law trust. And there's plenty of cases showing the importance of the common law trust. And if you're out there in YouTube, I'm about to shut it down on YouTube. So the right and wrong trust procedures. The right and wrong trust procedures. The conveyance of real property to the trust. The right way. Transfer the property to the trust by a warranty deed. Send copies to be redone, not the originals. The wrong way. Transfer to an individual for value received. The rewards of doing it the right way. There's no taxes. Details are kept private. Not likely to be subject to pressure from promoters or salesmen, and no disclosure as to values involved when traded or exchanged. The penalties for the wrong way. Disclose to the public if any gain realized, tax must be filed. May subject you to pressure from immoral people. Conveyance of personal property to the trust. The right way. Create a detailed list of all property, personal, etc. Add it to Schedule A as part of your trust with no values specified. Make a second list with replacement values specified and keep it in a separate fireproof box. In the fireproof safe or lockbox in the same name as the trust, keep the list of replacement values. Reward. No capital gains recognizable. Able to provide a detailed loss to insurance company to collect insurance in case of fire or theft and regain the value of property. Avoid being taxed personally for property, as the trust is an artificial entity and does not die. The trust can keep full value of the valuables and thereby saving tax money for the estate and avoiding probate. The wrong way. Listing only most valuable items or making no list at all. Specify items at a cost value. Make this list with all cash values specified as part of your trust. Keep this list in the lockbox in your name. Penalties. Capital gains will be evident in tax payables. Proof of ownership can be difficult or impossible. Capital gains tax. Lockboxes can be enforced by IRSs and seized by the bank pending probate in the event of death. Conveyance of stocks and securities to the trust. This is an important one. For transfer to the trust, stocks and securities should be street endorsed to the trust. Send this to the transfer agent as this avoids broker commissions. Rewards. Establish bona fide records as to transfer of ownership to the trust. Only endorse the stock and the securities over to the trust. Turn them over to your broker for transference. You know you shouldn't do this. Convey your life insurance to the trust. Make the trust the beneficiary. Make the trust pay the premium. With an irrevocable minute resolution, make the trust the policy owner. If possible, obtain a new policy contracts. Rewards. Keep proceeds out of spouses' estates. Can save from 20 to 50% of estate tax. Relieves insured of ownership and removes probability of tax and proceeds. It will be acceptable proof to the IRS that no premium will have been paid by you. This will save taxes. See number 3. Now, this is what a lot of people want to know how. The conveyance of a motor vehicle to the trust. Place vehicles in the trust name, assuring minimum rates. Rewards. Important assets are protected from the liability created by vehicles. You are personally protected from the result of suits. The trust will pay the operating expense. Use lease, fees, etc. before tax dollars. So these are just some of the simple things I'm going to go over, man. I know I'm going quick with y'all today. And this one's pretty deep right here. Because you're in the class, I did this. You should have received an email with this. And this is the document showing you how to transfer assets to a true, pure, irrevocable trust. So, for conveying property into the trust in exchange for the beneficial interest certificates of the trust certificate units, when you or another party wants to transfer property into the trust organization in exchange for these units, you take on the role of exchanger, who will do the following. The exchanger will submit a written proposal to the managing director or to the board of trustees regarding the property you would like to transfer into the UBO, the unincorporated business organization, known as a common law trust, in exchange for a specified number of beneficial interest certificates. The Board of Trustees then meet, evaluate your proposal, and either accept it as submitted, agreeing to the requested number of shares, etc., or the board requests more information, or may make a counter proposal subject to certain conditions, etc. The managing director, of submitting such a proposal, shall always get the board's approval for final acceptance of the proposal. Text me your email. If you should have put the right email when you signed up. Some of them bounce back. They must have misspelled their own email addresses or something. Upon agreement of the potential exchanger and the Board of Trustees, the exchanger transfers the property to the trust organization and receives beneficial interest certificates. If property is real estate,
this session is no longer being recorded.
If property is real estate, then a quitclaim deed is valid in most states, and preferable a grant or warranty deed is applicable. The exchanger deeds the property as follows. And you just do it as the name of the trust. And you create your own Schedule A. Promissory note, grant deed, your mortgage, bill of sale, personal property. But that's about all I have for you guys today. It even shows you how to work with your trust. We'll go over some more of this next week. Check your emails if you're in the class. I will make sure you get your email too. I'll send it right away as I'm signing off. With much peace and love. Remember, prosperity is your birthright. Be looking out. I'm getting stuff set back up. I will be setting up a class as well. Online class. I'll make sure everybody that's in this class gets access to that class. Once we get that up and running, we will be having the interactive class where you go to a website and we can just interact with everybody, man. I appreciate you guys. Much peace and love. If you didn't receive the emails of the stuff I went over today, reach out to me at 407-274-5161. I'll make sure that you get it. I love y'all. Remember, prosperity is your birthright.